Good Thursday evening and many thanks for joining us on RTV News tonight. We hope you are very well wherever you are joining us from. This is what is coming up. On Thursday, the Monetary Policy Committee announced that the central bank lending rate is at 7% to tame inflationary pressures.
Residents from some of the model villages say that poultry farming is initiated by the government for them is not yielding as much profit as it should do to insufficient maintenance from cooperatives.
A very good evening to you and welcome to Rwanda Television News with me, Sam Kalisa.
And Martina Vera.
How are you doing, Martina?
I'm very good. How are you doing tonight?
Very, very great.
Yes, so let us start off our bulletin by letting you know that the Central Bank of Rwanda, BNR, announced that by the end of the year 2023, there will be a significant decrease of inflation based on various reasons. On Thursday, the Monetary Policy Committee announced a central bank lending rate of 7% to tame inflationary pressure. Adam Kwizera has more.
The war between Russia and Ukraine exacerbated an already existing increased trade of commodity prices. In addition, higher domestic food prices in 2022. This is where the Central Bank of Rwanda, BNR, expressed a realistic expectation of a drop in the prices that had risen based on the headline inflation reached to a peak of 21.7% and its decline of 17.8% in April 2023, where this decline is attributed mainly to a 4.4% drop in energy prices in April 2023 from 19.9% in December 2022. This is where the governor of the Central Bank of Rwanda, BNR, John RwandaTV, demonstrates the facts in regards to this reduction of the inflation at the domestic market.
We expect to see inflation continue to go down. The other curve we saw moving downward, we expect it to continue going down to around to below 8%, around almost 5% by the end of this year. And this is all components of this inflation are expected to continue reducing, whether coal, energy, and fresh food.
Rwanda's external sector shown its stability despite a widening trade deficit, which was mainly contributed by the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic and the war between Russia and Ukraine, whereas the Rwanda's merchandise exports remained strong with a growth of 17.4% in the first quarter of 2023, owing to higher export quantities supported by the good performance of the domestic manufacturing activities, plus the rise of merchandise imports by 27.6% from the increased demand for imports. As a result, the merchandise trade deficit widened by 35%. This is why some exporters shows that there is a hope to close this gap, mainly based on the way the government has facilitated this sector.
Good thing, and I want to thank the government of Rwanda through Rwandair and its partnership with the government of Qatar to avail, number one, the recent cargo airline that has a capacity of 100 tons. We have, they also want to thank the government for the purchase of the Rwandair cargo airline. This has provided ample space and opportunity for exporters to be able to invest in this business. Initially we would invest with fear, but now we are investing with confidence. So I believe people are doing this business, their incomes are going to increase.
The Central Bank of Rwanda, BNR, shows the role of this external sector performance in depreciation of Rwandan francs against US dollar by 3.7% in the end of March 2023 compared to December 2022. However, the governor of the Central Bank of Rwanda, John RwandaTV, emphasized that the current development of the tourism sector and other various sectors are among the expected to close that gap.
There's pressure on our exchange markets. One linked to this widening of the trade deficit, but also linked to the strengthening of the US dollar that has had an impact on almost all currencies globally. We've seen most of the currencies really depreciating against the dollar. So those two together has had the impact we see on the pressure on our exchange market. But we expect continued good performance in tourism numbers and the remittances to cover this gap and gradually reduce the pressures we see on the exchange market.
The Monetary Policy Committee decided to maintain a central bank rate at 7%, when this Monetary Policy Committee remains committed to bring back the inflation with the target band of 2 to 8%. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Thank you, Adams. Moving ahead, after analyzing the draft 2023-2024 budget allocated to the Ministry of Sports, the deputies in the Committee of National Budget and Patrimony requested the Ministry of Sports to demonstrate essential activities not included in the budget for advocacy. Prince Manzi.
Rutsiro and Nyagatare district residents say that they do not have access to their land for the past 5 years, as it was taken by the Rwanda Development Board. The Minister of Sports, Oro Mimosa, told the deputies in the Rwandan Parliament that the budget allocated to this ministry last year was not fully provided, and such cases were noticed in the draft 2023-2024 budget.
Here we include activities not done like friendly matches and team preparations were done according to the budget we had. All these challenges were also indicated last year.
The deputies in the Committee on National Budget and Patrimony urged the ministry to demonstrate essential activities not included in the budget for their advocacy.
In documents provided after analysis, there included 20 projects not budgeted, and it would be better if every project was detailed, especially its calendar, and also demonstrate the budget provided and gaps available for us to follow up on it.
In the draft 2023-2024 budget, the sports sector was allocated 19,657,894,246 Rwandan francs to be used in football, handball, basketball, marathons, bike races, and promoting young people through Isonga program. The Ministry of Sports demonstrates that sports courts will be constructed across the country in 200 cells. Prince Manzi, RTV News.
Thank you, Prince Manzi, for that report. After the heavy rains that severely affected the Nyabihu district, some infrastructures, including medical facilities and local government buildings, stopped providing services. But currently, people are content of the fact that service provision has officially resumed. Olive Nete has more on this report.
Shira sector is among the areas that were heavily affected by heavy rains, where even the office of the sector was overflooded and everything in the building was damaged. Currently, the former building of Shira sector is being demolished and will be re-established in a different place. While waiting for its re-establishment, the office is currently working in a resident's home.
I am coming from the sector. I wanted to get some information on the progress of how settlement is being carried out, to see if people can do transfer of ownership. I found the services are being carried out as it should.
Even though residents are receiving services, service providers note some of the challenges being faced.
We are providing services related to land as usual, because this happened when we already got the photo that can help us to see the owners of the land, and also using the electronic permits to the point where you do not need to have the hard copy of the document while carrying out transfer of ownership.
During the heavy rains, the Chizirankara Health Facility was also damaged. Some of the medicines and various materials were damaged as well, but luckily no patient got hurt. Currently, medical services are being provided in a hall located near the hospital. The Chizirankara Health Post usually receives residents from Muhanga, Gakenke, Ngororero, and Nyabihu district. The director of Shira Health Center, Ndayambaje Focus, notes that they need support because most of the medical equipment has been damaged.
We faced a huge damage because most of the materials were overflooded. We tried to use some of the materials left, but we need new materials and also an appropriate health facility.
In order to protect the lives of relocated people who lived in high-risk zones, in this sector, there are sites where these people have been gathered. The executive secretary of the Shira sector, Marcel Ndandu, points out that there are other materials ready to be delivered.
I was speaking with someone from the Rwanda Housing Authority, and they told me that they are currently bringing more materials, such as chairs and tables, to support us. It is not only the Rwanda Housing Authority but also the Ministry of ICT is assisting us to find new computers because they were damaged, and they are currently looking to see how we can find new places for the sector and the health facility that were damaged.
Currently, electricity infrastructures that were damaged were repaired by residents, as well as water pipes. Additionally, various works aimed at the development of people have been resumed, although the damaged roads need to be repaired.
Residents from some of the model villages say that poultry farming, as initiated by the government for them, is not yielding as much profit as it should due to insufficient maintenance from cooperatives.
Settlers in the model village of Gikomero in Gasabo district, who are working together in Inyenyeri za Gikomero cooperative, were given about 5,000 layers but are now left with about 200, and some of the chicken coops are empty. Members of this cooperative say that they recognize no profit. It is just pretense that we carry out poultry farming, but none of us really knows the way forward. Some people join the cooperative with their selfish personal interests, yet we have disabled people here that should be helped by what comes out of this. Meanwhile, in the model village of Karama in Nyarugenge district, the poultry farming project started with 7,500 chicken, but now there are only 3,500 chicken left, leaving the residents in wonder of what will be the way forward for the project. A few days after the lockdown due to COVID-19, we all questioned about the future of our poultry farming project, given we had invested our money in it. We therefore had a meeting to see the way forward, where we were told that we had faced losses, explaining how the number of layers decreased. Managers of these poultry farms point out that the reason behind the encountered losses is how costly the poultry feeds are, and according to the records in 2018, poultry feeds took 70% of the capital but now takes 90% of it. 90.7% of the profit is used for the poultry feeds, and what is left is used for paying the workers, maintenance, and emergence. That is why members of the cooperatives say that they don't see any profit because the money earned is consumed through activities aimed at proper care for the chicken. On the other hand, some model villages like Ayabaraya model village in Kicukiro district, members have recognized profits from the time the poultry farming project was initiated and are happy about it.
According to this month, we are earning 14 million Rwanda francs as a result of 11 million Rwanda francs as capital, which shows a 3 million Rwanda francs profit.
Antoine Mutsinzi, the executive director of Kicukiro district, says that poultry farming in model villages is possible if cooperation between residents is ensured.
When you have a one-year project with 100 members and you emphasize on what portion each member will have, that will result into poor management. So we told them to ensure cooperation in such a way that the project is sustainable.
The Director General of the Ministry of Local Governments, Prosper Mulindwa, observes that illiteracy about poultry farming projects is the basis of the losses faced.
We are working with Rwanda Cooperative Agency and Rwanda Agricultural Board so that we are able to solve the problem of illiteracy about poultry farming, because it is a project that, when managed well, yields profit.
These poultry farming projects in model villages are the basis of sociability and the way forward to development of residents in these villages if proper management cooperation is ensured. Shinateta, RTV News.
Thank you, Shinateta, for that report. Now, deputies in the Rwandan parliament demand the Rwanda Development Board to pay off citizens or return their land taken by the institution across the Gishwati Park in Western Province and Akagera National Park in the Eastern Province, as not being compensated hinders the residents' development. Prince Manzi has more.
Rutsiro and Nyagatare district residents say that they do not have access to their land for the past 5 years, as it was taken by the Rwanda Development Board. They point out that they were promised compensation, but it was not provided. We told them that if there will be no compensation, at least let us cultivate, but they did not allow it. I prepared the macadamia in the nursery bed, and the hippopotamus would come and destroy it. It is even for like the past 3 years, and I do not get the production. Lack of compensation of both landowners and for those affected by wild animals from PECs were some of the points tackled on as the Rwanda Development Board provided oral explanations to the Committee on National Budget and Patrimony on Thursday. Eugene Mutangana of the Rwanda Development Board states that some of the residents were given back their lands, but also assures that as soon as the funds will be available, residents near both PECs will be relocated. We are also concerned with our late payments, but it is due to lack of enough budget allocated to us. Where we have not yet paid, citizens can continue with their activities. It would be great if the budget was provided and the land is used for its purpose, as well as residents continue with their development. The deputies also urged the Rwanda Development Board to discuss with the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources on the 3,000 hectares expansion of the volcano's PEC. On the other hand, this ministry demonstrated concerns on the impact of this project on the scarcity of crops like Irish potatoes, as they are mostly found in this region. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
On Thursday, in the Integrated Polytechnic Regional College of Tumba, they inaugurated a building that was established in support of the French government. Teachers and students said that due to the equipment of high quality in this particular building, they are ready to yield recognizable outcomes.
This building was built while also providing training to some of the teachers who teach different subjects in technical vocational schools around the country. The construction activities also involved the purchase of the modern machines, building laboratories for various subjects such as science and technology courses, and a large library. Some teachers say that these tools will assist them in providing quality education, which will lead to the development of the country, and this is also emphasized by students.
What this solves is providing the practical part of the lesson. There is the theory, but there is also need of the practical part.
The fact that there are new modern equipment assisted teachers to give us more knowledge, because at some point they wouldn't find the right way to explain it. This is so good. We can now see some of the things that we watch on TV, and we can as well provide it in our country. This is so good. The construction project of this building, whose foundation was laid in 2021 by the French President, His Excellency Emmanuel Macron, is being used by students of this college. The ambassador of France to Rwanda, Antoine Amfray, noted that this is a positive sign of the relations between the two countries.
Some French government in the past, and especially before 1994, didn't take the right decision. Then it had catastrophic consequences because as the news report said and as also the Duclair report said, France made a possible genocide which was foreseeable. And for me personally, I have always been convinced of that. I think this is an historical fact. And it was necessary, that the French government, through President Macron, recognized our responsibilities. That's what he did. That's what he did, especially when he made this visit. And of course, we have to be clear about the past, to be pertinent, I would say, to be effective during the present and for the future,
This technical vocational school has about 10,239 students. The Minister of State in charge of ICT and TVET, Claudette Irere, noted that having such modern infrastructure in technical vocational schools will attract more students to join them.
turizera yuko bizanatuma umubare w'abitabira amashuri y'imyuga n'ubumenyingiro.
We believe that this will bring more students in the technical vocational school because when we speak of schools, we mean materials. Sometimes people refuse to join technical vocational schools which do not have enough materials, but this IPRC Tumba is promising and have enough equipment, as you noticed. Apart from IPRC Tumba, similar buildings are being built in IPRC Karongi and Chitabi. This French government project is implemented by the French Development Agency with a budget of 9,154,700 Rwandan francs. Olive Nete, RTV News.
And we end it here. On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team, thank you for being with us. My name is Sam Kalisa.
And mine, Martina Vera.
And I will say until next time.
Stay safe.
And have a great evening.